What's poppin', y'all? Time to talk about the Big Ten preseason media poll. We talked a little bit about, obviously, all SEC, but we love to give everybody love here on the channel. So we're going to talk about Big Ten and did they get it right? All right, at number 16, they obviously got Purdue, a team that's in a rebuild, trying to figure things out. They're getting some pretty big prospects that starting to come in, hitting the portal, but I agree. They should be obviously at number 18. They're still figuring things out. Followed by obviously Northwestern, Maryland, who I think could have a better season than some think. You know what I'm saying? Maryland's going to be kind of a team to watch. Not saying they're a top 5 team, but it could be a team that sneaks up on some people this year. Now, UCLA with Nico Amaliava, like how much can he propel that team to new heights, right? Obviously, we've seen what he did with Tennessee, that situation and everything, but how good can he make UCLA? Can he make them a formidable team? Can he lead them to 7-8 wins in 2025, right? Roster, probably not as good as Tennessee in my humble opinion, but it would look really good on him if he gets them to, like I said, 7-8 wins this upcoming year. All right, next up, you obviously have Rutgers, a team that it's known in the past, obviously, is a really good, program, but it's been a while, y'all. It's been a while since they've been really relevant and good, so I think 13 is a really good spot for them. Then you got Michigan, obviously State. You know what I'm saying? That's an interesting game, but or team, I should say. But Wisconsin's the team I want to see if they can take a step forward. Now, the good thing for Wisconsin is they're going to bring back their stud receiver, who is Vinny Anthony II. And then Wisconsin has a lot of camaraderie, too, on the offensive line coming back. They got 3 main guys, center guards, coming back this upcoming year for them, which should help, obviously, the running game. They also have a heavily touted cornerback, and Ricardo Hallman also coming back for them. So they got some pretty formidable pieces. Another team that you should see, okay, how will quarterback be? Who will emerge as their starter for them, obviously. But they return some key guys at some key spots. Should help a lot, obviously, moving forward. Now, for Minnesota, obviously, you got Kenrick Leonard II. You got Corey Parrish and Darius Taylor as the main guys for the Gophers, right? And we've seen in years past just them, being able to start the season well. Can he get off to another good start? It's going to be the interesting question. Now, a really interesting year coming up, obviously, for the Washington Huskies, right? We know it's been a few years removed since they lost, obviously, their head coach, Kalen DeBoer. Obviously, losing, obviously, their star quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., who's off, obviously, to the NFL. But they got a guy now that they believe a lot in. They got a guy in Damon Williams Jr. that's going to lead them at the quarterback spot. Obviously, a really good running back, in Jonas Taylor. He should be able to help them out a lot. And then defensively got Sicario Davis and obviously Alex McLaughlin. So we'll see what Washington does this year. Again, the team that's going to be a sleeper, but got some good pieces at the forefront. Now, we already know about USC, obviously, at number 9. We talked about them on the channel several times, right? Make or break year for, obviously, head coach Lincoln Riley, right? Can you take that next step? You can't go 7-5 again. I'm with Joel Klatt. It has to be 9-3 or 10-plus wins this year if you want to keep, obviously, your job. Now, they could still keep him because, remember, it is a $80 million buyout, which is a lot of money. I don't know if I don't know if USC faithful want to pay that out in terms of, obviously, the management, the staff. I don't know. But can they take that next step? New quarterback at the helm, good weapons, good receivers. Will this be a year that USC can get into that top 2 or 3? All right, and then Nebraska was last year a fluke, right? Can you run it back with Matt Rule? Can you have another good season? A lot of people are donning, obviously, Dylan Raiola as one of the top quarterbacks, especially in the Big Ten. Will this be the year that you follow up again? And then Iowa, can you just score points offensively? Like, that's the biggest thing. You've always had a great defense. Just they've struggled offensively, but they went in the portal, got some guys. Obviously, Gronowski, obviously, they got several guys out of the portal that can help with the quarterback position. They got a lot of depth there, but can they score the points? Defensively, they're always a pretty good unit, but can you score the points to be formidable enough? Now, you're going to have games where it's low scoring, but can the offense make the sound plays in order to help your team? And then, obviously, Indiana, Fernando Mendoza, right? Can he have a season that, obviously, Curtis Rourke had this past year, right? They made the college football playoff. There was a good team this year. Can you follow that up, or was that a fluke, right? Some good defensive players, obviously, coming back this year for, obviously, the Hoosiers. We like their coach. Coach does a really good job in Kirk Cinetti. Can they take that next step forward? And then when you look at Michigan, it's just Bryce Underwood, right? We know, same thing. Like, they're going to run that rock. They're going to give it off to their running back. But can, obviously, Bryce Underwood deliver the throws, right? Obviously, this is presuming he'll be the starter. How many mistakes will he make? Will you allow him to grow through those mistakes and those growing pains in order to help your team? Now, that might not be you win the Big Ten this year, but that could be you be number 4, number 3 team and continue to grow and get better and better. And then, obviously, big year coming up for Luke Altmaier for Illinois, the Fighting Illini. Curious to see what he's going to be able to do. Really good season last year. Lost a playmaker or two, but can bring, obviously, a couple back. Defensively, can they be a better unit? Biggest kind of question there. And in Oregon, can you win a big game? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the regular season because you know you can do that. In those high-stake leverage moments, in a college football playoff. Teams giving it to you. You down 14-0. You down 21-0 at the half. Can you be one of those teams that can go in, make halftime adjustments, and make it a ball game? That's my biggest question when it comes to Oregon. Dante Miller is obviously leading them this year, or Dante Moore, excuse me, is obviously leading them this year. Is he that guy, UCLA transfer? Can he make the throws? Will he kind of have a similar effect to, obviously, a Kyle McCord? People had questions about him. He lit it up at Syracuse, right? Will Howard, another guy people had questions about, transferred to Ohio State, led him to, obviously, a national championship. Can Moore be in a similar stature for these Oregon Ducks is one of the biggest questions I have. And in Ohio State, who's going to be QB1? Is it Julian Sand? Is it Tavian St. Clair? Everybody's saying Sand. Some Ohio State faithful is not confident enough in him as they should be. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. It's a new quarterback. Came over from, obviously, Alabama, former 5-star recruit. I get it. But you got all the weaponry you need, right? You bring back Caleb Downs. You bring back Jeremiah Smith, right? You got Cornell Tate, right? You got some good freshmen in there coming in that's ready and hungry and ready to do business and work. So you got everything you need to do it. The question is, can you do it with this quarterback? And then Penn State, no more excuses, right? Obviously, you use your defensive coordinator who's now at Oregon, or excuse me, now at Clemson, but you got everything you need. Drew Allen comes back. You got two 1,000-yard rushers in the backfield, and Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, right? You got a stud tight end that everybody's talking about that they're saying could be just as good as Tyler Warren, right? Defensively, you lose Abdul Carter, but you still got monsters back there that's going to be able to contribute and play at a high-end level. No more excuses, right? This is a big year for James Franklin. No one's talking about it. His pressure meters at the down low, but they gotta be better this year. Now, look, they made the college football playoff. They made some notes for they lost, obviously, to Notre Dame. But with this roster, getting Trevor Pena out of the transfer portal, they should be able to get to a college football playoff semifinal, a college football playoff national championship game. The roster is too talented, and you got to beat the big behemoths. You should be able to beat Oregon. You should be able to beat Ohio State with teams that are not as formidable as they were last year. Still going to be really good, but remember, Oregon's going to be dependent on young playmakers. Ja'Cory Moore, Evan Stewart goes down, right? Guys that's filling in new roles. So you should be able to handle your business if you're Penn State and actually win this whole thing and win this conference. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to do that. But let me know down below your thoughts on this poll. What did they get right? What did they get wrong?